LinkedIn family, what's going on? Brendan here today to talk to you about a new comfy UI node that I made over the weekend that harnesses the power of the Minimax object remover codebase. It's a great new way of in-painting made by some very smart people. We've ported that repo into comfy UI for a fully localized way to do in-painting, no APIs, no nothing. It's really awesome, and we're going to show you how it works along with the workflow, which we'll share in the post. Now, the Minimax object remover code base and way of doing things is quite complicated, but it's really an amazing way of doing in-painting, utilizing transformer 3D models that use temporal attention layers and process video in 3D volumes instead of going frame by frame. As well, it's a flow-based model that uses flow matching, not diffusion, so it's better for temporal consistency overall. In general, it's just providing really great and very fast results, and we're here to show you how to use it today. So let's get started in Comfy UI. We've got our setup here. Now, we've got lots of different groups here. Don't be overwhelmed if you're not familiar with Comfy UI. You'll learn. It's really fun. We've got up here our one way of doing segmentation, which is with the Kytra character-based, very simple click and produce matte mask alpha output, mainly for characters and people. And then down here, we've got our SAM2 segmentation utilizing the Kaijai point editor, which allows you to segment off different areas that you want to mask off. Little bit different use cases, so we're going to go through each one and talk about when to do what, as well as how to go about the whole process. So let's get started. So we're going to jump in and we're going to load up the first video. We've got our little man here walking in a cyberpunk, dystopian scene. We're going to start off with our, character-based Kytra matte extraction. So we're going to turn off the SAM segmentation version. We're literally just going to run this through. So now we're creating our alpha channels masks through this process. We're expanding those masks a little bit to give us a little bit of extra room on the edges. So now we have our man on a green screen. You can kind of see he's been isolated. A little bit of stuff in here, but that's okay. Now we're going to get the actual alpha channel, which has been expanded a little bit. We're also using a switcher here, which tells us which one of these two sections to use for the matte input. Now we're in the Minimax removable node that we created. I created over the weekend, and that is actually doing the in-painting and removal. So now that's going to run, and we're going to end up with a result here that hopefully removes the guy. Okay, so that took about 15-20 seconds, and you can see that that result is really, really solid. Now, this initial video came from WAN 2.1 with CauseVid LoRa, so there's a little bit of blurriness and stuff like that happening, mainly from that WAN 2.1 output. But you can see that the creation of the in-painting is pretty flawless. It's amazing, and it was super fast. Altogether, roughly 30 seconds for this generation. So now let's jump into another use case. We're going to go with our little raccoon buddy. We're going to start a new canvas. We're going to load up our raccoon. See how this one works. Now, before we go through the process of actually going into the removal, let's see how the mask does. Because sometimes, you want to redo that a little bit before you get into that processing run. Well, it seems like it did a pretty good job. Cool, so let's go ahead and now process through to the rest of the pipeline. We'll expand that matte, that's good. And now we're gonna run it. All right, and now our raccoon is gone. And obviously, sometimes you'll have to do a little bit of extra stuff in here to get some of the reflections and stuff out, but it's a great start, especially if you're in VFX, to have to clean some of these things out. You can further refine this by, expanding the mats and then running it through a secondary process. But all in all, these are some great results. We're going to post this workflow up in the description of the post, as well as some other examples of this. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great one.